Welcome everybody to Ugly Sketchbook number 2's tour, the very long-awaited sketchbook tour. Number 1 is on my Instagram page. It's very segmented, which is why I decided to put it on YouTube this time. And here is number 1, and here's number 2. So I first wanted to start with defining Ugly Sketchbook because there's been some concerns with the name among some of my followers over the years. And I don't know if she termed or coined it, but I learned the term from her. So Frannerd, who was a YouTuber that was very influential for my art when I first started in 2015, 2016, she has something called an ugly sketchbook, which essentially is a sketchbook that is the absolute opposite of those very aesthetic Instagram YouTuber sketchbooks where everything's perfect and perfectly planned out. The point of an ugly sketchbook is basically just to draw and not care about how it looks. And it's a very liberating thing to have as an artist, especially with digital art. It makes it feel like every single thing you do has to be perfect. And at one point it was just driving me insane. So I had to go back to my roots and get a physical sketchbook, which is why I have an ugly sketchbook. And I don't date my sketchbooks anymore, so I have no clue when I first started this. I think it was 2 years ago, but I honestly have no concept of time. Anyways, so for this sketchbook I just wanted to go through and show everybody kind of what I've been working on for the past 2 years. And I'm not going to show every page because I think every artist should have the right not to show every single art piece that they create. And I also feel in the age where we feel we have to show everyone everything and we're constantly feeling we're being watched, that it's a good thing to kind of step back from that and keep a little something for yourself. But as you know from my Instagram, I'm a yapper, so this is where I need to be. And then at the end of the sketchbook tour, I'm going to decorate my new sketchbook with stickers and what have you. Sketchbook tour desk, and I did record partially me putting together my new sketchbook with the stickers and stuff, but I was literally having such a difficult time figuring out placement, so I ended up just cutting it out because I don't think anybody wants to see me fighting with myself for 5 minutes over the placement of one sticker. So here is a picture of what it looks like now. And I do like to keep a lot of blank space so that any stickers I discover during my journey of filling out my ugly sketchbooks, I can add it onto there. Okay, that's it. So let's get started. Okay, so with first pages, and I know it's not just me, it really feels like you have to go through all of these things and be oh, I have to draw the best thing on the first page, it's the very first page, what should I put on it? And that's why it's mostly empty. So I was doing my Deltarune second playthrough, so yeah, there's that. Obviously I didn't fill in the whole thing. You're going to see a lot of pages like that, because that's another thing in the ugly sketchbook. Don't force yourself to do anything you don't want to do. And not don't practice or anything, but I mean if something is agonizing you and you're tearing your hair out and you want to end it all, don't do it. That's not what the ugly sketchbook is for. This is a page that I did, as I have written here. Trolls 1 is back on Netflix, so I just whipped out my my Prismacolor color pencils and then did the outline in color pencil and then did the outline with this kind of horrible quality pen, but I do like it a lot. This page was, I think, what season were we in? Owl House, season 3? Something like that. Anyways, you guys should know that I am a Bartholomew, OG. So, I was on that wave, very long ago. But anyways, yeah, my pen was dying. Every time I get a new Pilot G2, I have to fight for my life to get it to the consistency that I like. And, that was kind of happening here. But anyways, I really like this little comic down here where Gus is okay, but why didn't you just use illusion magic instead of drawing it on each time? His little mustache that he was drawing on. And then Matt is shut up. So This is a page I did for Moon Girl. Also, very briefly, I do want to apologize if I'm like sniffling or my voice sounds congested. It's like negative 3,000 degrees where I'm at right now, and I'm fighting for my life. Anyways, so this was when I think season 2 came out for Moon Girl, and I really should draw more Moon Girl stuff. I don't know. Sometimes I'm like, I want to draw more of blah blah blah, and then I never do. But yeah, it's just a Casey and then a couple Lunellas here and there. This is a page that I did when I rewatched No Way Home with my cousin, and I miss them so bad. I know we're getting a Spider-Man 4, like an FCU Spider-Man 4, and that's great and all, but like I need to go back in time and relive like the No Way Home era, because that was insanity. And every time I watch the movie, I go through something that no human language can describe. But anyways, it's Peter and MJ, and then we have Ned, and then we have a little Andrew Garfield Peter. This, so iconic to me. This I drew in Redacted, I don't remember, but this is the first Star Hair Ramona like exploration, initial design or whatever. So it happened completely on accident, because sometimes when I draw, like my brain doesn't work and I just like go on autopilot, and this was the first Star Hair Ramona, and I ended up liking it to the point where I just kept exploring it in different aspects. So if you don't know, Star Hair Ramona is basically Ramona, like it's a Scott Pilgrim AU, except everything is exactly the same, except Ramona has hair in the shape of a star, and I love it. I love her, and you'll see more of her later on. Yeah. This okay, so I was watching what is that damn movie called? The movie with Lyle Crocodile with Shawn Mendes. I was watching it with my cousin, and I swear to you, it's the funniest thing I've probably ever seen in my life, and we were like laughing so hard. And anyways, I forget that dude's name, but it says child abandonment, breaking and entering, escaping authority, aiding with escaped wild animals, deadbeat dad, etc., etc. That's his like criminal charges. Anyways, I'm very unserious in this sketchbook. You'll see a little bit more of that. Okay, so this was a comic that I never finished. It never got out of the planning stages, and you'll see a lot of that, going on in this sketchbook. But, well, first up here, Buzzcut Hunter. Oh, now, let me explain, because you'll see more Buzzcut characters a little later. But I just feel like having Hunter's hair grow out is too reminiscent of Bellows, and I feel like it would be more liberating if he got to cut his hair, and that's where Buzzcut Hunter came from. But anyways, this comic down here is way more important. So this is post, thanks to them. I think is that what it's called? What was the last episode called? I don't remember. Anyways, it's a comic because I felt like Hunter didn't get the closure that I wanted him to get, because I know some people are like, well, he's gone, da-da-da. And it's like, Luce got to curb stomp this man into the ground, and Hunter, who is like, obviously he suffered from Bellows, like at Bellows' hands himself, but like his predecessors also didn't get like their ones with Bellows. So I feel like through Hunter they all should have been able to beat his ass. But anyways, so the comic reads, Hunter goes, Luce, did Bellows suffer? And Luce, she has this reaction, and then I was gonna rework this script because I kind of felt like it sucked, but she says, he felt when I tore his body from the Titan's heart, he felt every drop of boiling rain that fell on his body, and he felt when Ida, King, and Rain stomped him into the ground. And then Hunter is kind of like shaken by the whole thing. He ends up hugging Luce, and then he says thank you. And I feel like we need more characters to like get revenge. I'm tired of like, oh, well, at least they're gone. Like, no, let me contribute to that person being gone. That might sound insane, but I'm just like, Bellows was, you guys know him. Anyways, I'm not going on that rant. Next page. So, if you guys don't know, little Scott Pilgrim lore, Ramona's real hair color is like medium to dark brown. So I thought I could like, just explore that a little bit more. And just a bunch of star hair Ramonas. I think this is the first page that I explored the star ponytail. And yeah, here's a Scott saying he has to fight 7 evil ex-boyfriends. Yippee! Because, everybody wanted to do that. And then we have a couple of poppies up there. Love her. This is a comic that I did because Scott is so stupid. It's like at certain points he's like, his brain is just like not there, like memory loss, and obviously part of that has to do with Gideon, and then other parts I think just has to do with the fact that he's just stupid. So Ramona comes home and she's like, hey Scott, the store didn't have that weird food thing you wanted. And Scott's like, it's okay, don't worry about it. He's like, oh hey, we have the same parka. And Ramona's like, Scott, this is your parka. And Scott's like, you stole my parka? And then it says, this is the 10th time they've had this conversation because his brain isn't there. And then here's a couple of Kims. Oh my god. This, I don't know what I was doing. Oh, this I can explain. I turned on my 3DS one time and it was like facing a corner, and I swear that I saw this lady in a dress and it scared the shit out of me, and I was like, oh, that'd be something fun to draw. I'm still not recovered from that, by the way. And then there's Mac from Animal Crossing, and then some Princess Tutu stuff because I think about Princess Tutu like every single day. If you haven't seen Princess Tutu, get on that. This is stuff that I drew straight out the theater when Across the Spider-Verse came out, and the brainworms, they caught every single artist. Like 2018 Spider-Verse was like, oh yeah, that was like the birth of the Spider-Sona, but once Across the Spider-Verse came out, after we've been waiting for 10 bajillion years, I feel like my brain chemistry got altered. Anyways, here's a bunch of Gwens. Yeah, not much to say about that, but I was just figuring out how I wanted to draw her hair because this is the first time I've drawn her with her Across the Spider-Verse hair. Here's more Across the Spider-Verse stuff. There's this picture of Miles in that position, and I feel like throughout the years I figured out how to do that angle, but here was not that. So here's more Across the Spider-Verse. And when I saw Gwen in Miles's like hoodie jacket, like I was like, Ghost Flower realness, so I had to draw that. Okay, so for these, when I'm in school, I like draw a lot. It's not like it helps me focus, I just do it because it's less stressful drawing in class than it is to draw on my own for some reason. So I do this series where I cut out all of the doodles from school at the end of the semester, and then I do a live of them on Instagram and putting them in and stuff like that. So they get a little more elaborate later on, but this is from 2022 to 2023 school year, if that tells you anything about when I started the sketchbook. It tells me nothing, I don't remember. We have Willow, Star Hair Ramona. You'll see this one, you probably have seen this one because I used it as a sketch for my first Star Hair Ramona post. There's Luce in a bonnet. There's May from Turning Red. Here's Willow shaving Hunter's head because I feel like she should be the one to do it. And then I used one of her unused designs. And then here's Jack from Kickin' It. And there's Darwin and Gumball human designs. Puppy Cat, Marceline and Princess Bubblegum, and then Luce when she crashed out, and Willow. And then this character's from a short film that one of my friends was obsessed with at the time. Some more school doodles. I won't explain all of them. You can just take a look at them. But this is Hunter saying, thanks for cutting my hair again, and Willow's like, of course. So yeah, I love those two. Moving on. So this is when my Across the Spider-Verse art book came, and luckily it wasn't as much drama as it was for when the first one came out because I had it on pre-order. It got back ordered for like 4 months. I was like on the phone with 10 billion people, ended up coming, whatever. This one, smooth sailing, loved it. So there's a little bit of like lore. I'm working on an Across the Spider-Verse video essay that you guys have been hearing about for the past 4,000 years because I'm being very lazy about it. But one of the things it says in there is that Lila writes in a journal for Miguel. So I thought it would be cute to show them having a journal sesh. And then here's me figuring out how to draw Lila and Miguel, and the idea was that Lila would get new glasses that resemble Miguel's like symbol on his suit, but then ended up looking like she got akumatized. So I was like, never mind, scrap the whole fucking thing. Here is my Fred page. So I have loved Fred since I was little, whatever, but I don't know what happened to me at this point in my life, but I was like, I need to revisit Fred. So this is the first Fred designs. You'll be seeing more Fred. And then I will put this picture on the side of the screen, but I ended up making it into an actual like full art piece. This isn't Fred thinking about himself being gay. This is him thinking about Kevin being gay. We can talk about that later. Point of the matter is, calling Fred gay is bisexual erasure. Thank you. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk. I hope you can see these color pencil ones at the bottom. Here's Kevin. Kevin is such a loser. Like, I could really go in depth about, like, he's such a loser. Anyways, here's Kevin, and then here's Fred as that meme. I'll put a picture of that emoji somewhere on the screen. This page, you probably won't be able to see it, but it's a drawing of Tomoyo. Is it Tomoyo or Tomoyo? I can't remember. I haven't watched Cardcaptor Sakura in, like, a while. Here's a lone SpongeBob. I was gonna turn this into a whole SpongeBob page, and then guess what? I didn't. There's another SpongeBob page in here, so look forward to that. This is what I drew after Ruin came out, and I was just figuring out how I wanted to draw Cassie, and then this is a reel that I made on Instagram. I will pause and put that on the screen.
Sister, is this you right here in this alley?
Sister, if you see a bitch in the alley with a bad bob, that is not me. Go the other way.
Who is this?
But this was the sketches that I did to figure out how I wanted to do that digitally. So yeah, I should draw more FNAF. You're gonna hear me say that like so many times about so many different things. This was after Dana Terrace had dropped those like the Owl House AU, but it's like fashion, whatever, and I wanted to do more with that, but I didn't. Also, just to say, I miss Amity's old hair. I know it's symbolic and whatever, but it's like, people have talked about like how Amity lost part of her charm when she became like not a bully, and I think there's some merit to that claim. Okay, The Devil All the Time is a book by, oh my god, I forget his first name. It's like, but his last name's like Pollock. Man, that's like kind of embarrassing for me. But anyways, I love this movie and I love the book, and the movie's on Netflix. You can watch it, and it features Tom Holland as the main character, and it's like Crash Out Central. You have to watch it. Watch it, but make sure you know the rating and like the trigger warnings for that film, because I don't want you guys coming into my DMs and being like, Des, you didn't tell me. Nope, I told you. Anyways, this is a concept of something that I might do in the future, of a bigger piece. And then yeah, I love Tom Holland in this role. This is probably my favorite Tom Holland acting that he's ever done that I've seen. Yeah, this is after I saw Coraline in theaters when it re-released for the first time. Was it a couple years ago? Yeah, I literally had to fight for my life to take off from work and have someone switch like shifts with me, just for them to like add, because it was like only available for 2 days, just for them to add like more screenings, because people were so obsessed with it like a couple weeks later, and I was pissed because I'm like, my check, my money. But anyways, there's Coraline. This is stuff that I drew during Fiona and Cake's run. And this is a comic that I will put on the screen that I drafted. I love Fiona and Cake. I've loved Fiona and Cake since like the first one was what's the word? Coming out. Yes, that one. But yeah, I love drawing Fiona. She's one of my favorite characters of all time. And I love doing characters with like the same pose, because it's just silly. Like, we're twins, you know? Silly. Here's more Star Hair Ramona. And then this is when I planned out Scott's birthday post, and I'll also put that on the screen. And I just want to figure out the placement, like the attitudes, and I knew that I wanted everyone to be talking to each other and having Scott like be completely ignored in the middle, because that's what he deserves. So originally Knives was gonna have like these buns in her hair, but like I don't know, I guess I decided they didn't work. Yeah, happy birthday, Bozo. That's what I wanted to write in the post, but I was like, let me relax. These doodles I put on my Instagram. I posted them as a post. I was rewatching Adventure Time after Fiona and Kate came out. Actually, I started my rewatch before, and then I never finished it. I think I'm on season 5. I've seen Adventure Time too many times to count. But anyways, this is a little bit messy, so I'll walk you through it. So this is the beginning of this comic. So Finn's biting. He bites like an arm, like these decapitated like magical arms are attacking him, and he's like, Jake, help me. And then this is Jake being a hot dog, and the joke is that Jake is just so unserious sometimes. Like, do you guys remember that were they gnomes or whatever when Finn was getting tortured and Jake was like dancing with that bug? anyways So this one's a standalone drawing. It's like, I'm staying out of this, guy who caused it. And then this one is I love this one. So Flame Princess is like, I love the song you wrote for me. And then she's singing all warmed up inside. And then it gets where Finn's just enjoying it. He's like, oh, this is so cute. Like, I think you're rad. And then it's like, and then it just keeps going on, like, because it feels like there's a fire inside my body. And that's the face where Finn realizes, like, wait a damn minute. And then he goes to Jake later. He's like, Jake, did you remix my Unrequited Love Depression song? Because that was never brought up. And it's like, if I was in my lowest moments over somebody that I was in love with, and I sang, like, I wrote them a song, and then my brother / my best friend went and like remixed the song, I would have been like, what is your deal? Anyways, I thought that was fun. Here's another Fred page. Yeah, I love Fred so much. Like, words can't describe my love for that little guy. Okay, so this was a planning page for 2 Scott Pilgrim things that I did, and it says at the top, speedrunning Scott Pilgrim ideas by the time the anime came out, and I wrote, it came out today, OMG. So I will put the pictures of these final posts, but my idea here was that I wanted like this kind of spotlight, like star spotlight of Scott and Ramona like shining down on Knives. It's kind of self-explanatory, like narrative wise. And then down here is this comic of kind of what I've had in my mind of the end, like what happens after the end of the Scott Pilgrim comic, because I really didn't like the idea, and I still don't like the idea of Scott and Ramona trying to be better people and do like right by the people that they're surrounded by, especially in Scott's case, when, you know, when he goes back to work and he's trying to get his life back together, whatever, and then just for them to like leave. I know there's a saying that's like, you can't grow in the same environment that like whatever, but I just feel like if you work so hard to do what those two are doing and then just up and leave, it makes me sad. Don't do that. And so I drew this before Scott Pilgrim Takes Off happened, and then at the end of Scott Pilgrim Takes Off, where you have that little montage or whatever, it like shows that they didn't leave and like walk through a random door. And I was like, oh, that's the prophet? Like, oh, I predicted that. Because I just feel like narrative-wise, that makes more sense. It's kind of like if Brian went through with what he wanted to do with the end of Scott Pilgrim originally, where it's like Scott ends up with nobody. I'm like, Scott spent like 6 books fighting for Ramona, fighting for himself, etc., just for him not to end up with her. I would have been pissed. So it's kind of that same idea where it's like, I would have felt like it's just not worth it. These are the doodles I did when Scott Pilgrim Takes Off came out, actually the day of. I fully lost my mind. Yeah. So I have to explain okay, Kim the Prophet. So I have this running gag where anytime I predict something, I'm like, oh, Jess the Prophet, or like insert character here, the Prophet. And with Kim, there's a there's a page, I forget in which volume it is, but like Kim is dreaming about like being at Scott's funeral, and like I can't remember who says it. I think is it like Ramona or Roxy? It's one of the two, where they say like, do you dream about this kind of thing often? And then of course in Scott Pilgrim Takes Off, Scott like dies or whatever, so I thought that was fun. And then this Vine, if anybody on this planet who's watching this video can help me find this Vine, I've been searching for it since I first saw it on the app, and I've never seen it in compilations. Anyways, it's by the same person who made that, like, first let me hop out the Porsche, I don't want to hit that, shut the up. It's that same guy. But anyways, so Todd's going, can we pretend that airplanes and the nice guys are like shooting stars? And Wallace is going, no the fuck we can't, because that's the Vine. I can't find it. It just exists in my mind. Anyways, this one is that one meme where it's like, I have the mind of a master of a mastermind. This is Gideon going urethra instead of eureka. It's that like stupid reaction thing. But anyways, one of my favorite jokes in Scott Pilgrim Takes Off is when Scott dies and he's only worth $2.10, because if you've played the Scott Pilgrim versus the World game, which I have before Scott Pilgrim Takes Off, you know, like every time you defeat any enemy, they drop like a bunch of coins. So the fact that he's only worth $2.10 is ridiculous, but it's hilarious. This is a planning page for the Scott Pilgrim Aggie that I did after Takes Off came out, and then that is something that I never did. This is the first Snot Girl drawing in here, and I'm very pleased with how many Snot Girl drawings I've done, because in Ugly Sketchbook number 1 I didn't do a lot, even though I was like obsessed still. So this one, I'll put the final one on the side. But I was just thinking about the relationship between Caroline Virgil and Big Bro, which is what I've coined their unnamed big brother. And I just wanted to explore that. And then here are the outfit ideas I was going with that. And then at the bottom, this was for Black History Month when I drew Esther. Is one of my favorite characters of all time, because she's the only one with any sense in that brain of hers. This is after World Tour came out, and I was just doing like a sketch page or whatever. Right here for John Dory, I have Root of All Evil. I can't stand that man, and it's a long story, but yeah, I was just tired of the, oh, he's so silly, like propaganda going around. That man is a villain to me. Yeah. So this is, remember as kids when you tried to kill me? Never happened. I don't know if you guys have ever had those sibling moments where it's like, hey, do you remember this one time you did me wrong? And they're like, nope, don't remember. Even though they do. Yeah. This is Branch saying, guess I don't need that anymore. And it's a dartboard with John Dory's face on it. Yeah, and then just a lot of Poppy and Broppy in general. This is a comic that, because I don't know how to explain this to people without sounding insane, even though I'm Art of the Mildly Sane. I don't know how to explain this. But anyways, so it goes like, so Scott's looking terrible, sleep deprived, whatever. And, well, okay, before I go with that, I do want to reiterate that I like drawing Scott in video game shirts, because it's like easier than coming up with a bunch of designs, because I can just pick a video game item and slap it on a shirt. So that's why he has the flower power from Mario. Anyways, Ramona goes, God, Scott, you look terrible. And Scott's like, what? It's your fault. And Ramona's like, me? And Scott's like, yes, your subspace thingy. I haven't slept like all, well, okay, hold on. Yes, your subspace thingy. I haven't slept well, comma, like, comma, all week. And he goes on to say, I know you have to work, but maybe take the bus sometimes. I don't know. And Ramona is like amused by this. And Scott goes, Ramona, I'm being so uncharacteristically serious right now. And then Ramona goes, I haven't been in subspace in weeks, Scott. You've just been dreaming of me, dude. And Scott's like, oh. Because he's obsessed. So she doesn't need to be running through his mind, because he's just dreaming about her. This is something that I have moved to sketchbook number 7. I have these really gigantic, gargantuan sketchbooks that I used to draw in when I was younger, and I still have a couple pages left in them, and I was sketching out these ideas for this illustration for my brother's birthday, and I just decided to move it to that sketchbook because I would have more space. These are my plannings for Black History Month. I wanted to do way more drawings than I actually got to do, but being in school and like losing my mind every 3 to 5 business days, I had to wrap it up. But these were the characters I wanted to draw. So I ended up drawing Lunella, and I ended up drawing Star Hair Ramona because there's an illustration that Brian made a couple years ago where he draws like a black version of Ramona, and he says in the description something like, I love seeing like different interpretations of my characters, and I really loved seeing that as a black girl. And then Luce and Gus, originally it was going to be just Luce, but I'm like, I haven't seen Luce and Gus together since like season 1 really, so let me lock into that. And then I was going to do Wyatt from 16, but I didn't. More Scott Pilgrim. I was really thinking about volume 6 and then just like Ramona and Gideon's relationship in general, and I have like very in-depth like actual analysis thoughts about that, but that's why we have these pink hair Ramonas. And then here's a Scott Mona. The ship name is still up for grabs. I've asked you guys before like what the ship name should be. No one can decide on a consensus. A lot of them sound ugly. Like rot is crazy work. So I decided SPF, as in Scott Pilgrim Flowers, and it's like SPF like the sunscreen, so I thought it was cute. And then here's Snot Pilgrim, which is a callback to something I drew, I think 2021, which is like a collaboration between Scott Pilgrim and Snot Girl, but then also a reference to the Mad TV shows Snot Pilgrim versus the Magical World of Disney. And then here's the gang making like this little sparkle thing with their hands. This page, I wanted to do some, if you haven't seen House of Anubis, get on Paramount Plus now and lock in. I need you to lock in. House of Anubis is one of those things where it's like, this is peak television. Anyways, so I was doing some designs for Nina and for Fabian, and I was gonna do the rest, but I got lazy, per usual. Here's more Ramona, pink hair Ramona, which was in her Gideon era, and then here's some Gideons. I think this is the first time outside of the Aggie that I've drawn Gideon, and these are some lyrics from stuff that's in my Scott Pilgrim tracks, like my Spotify playlist. And then down here, Ramona says, it's actually nice to be with someone who's obsessed with me again, because Gideon couldn't care less. And Scott's like, really? And it's like, he's stupid. like come on, think. This is some more stuff. This was something I was planning to make into a reel. Maybe I'll do it one day, maybe not, who knows. Here's Gideon saying, you two have made a grave mistake. And they're like, man, shut the fuck up. Because the joke is Gideon Graves, grave mistake, whatever. Anyways, and then I was drawing these while I was watching Pencil to Pencil, which is a podcast kind of thing that's on YouTube with like some really famous like comic artists, and they often feature other comic artists on their show, and they had Brian on, and I asked a couple questions and made a couple comments, and they were put on the screen, and Brian answered some of my questions, so that was cool. Pound Puppies, ugh, another show that's peak television. The joke's insane. It's just like, it's on Tubi. Go watch Pound Puppies now. Anyways, this is the continuation of the doodles that I did in Ugly Sketchbook number 1. I just love drawing puppies. I love drawing like dogs and cats and whatever. And no one suffered more than Mr. McLeish on this planet. In this world, in any world, no one suffered more than that man. He's been gaslit in ways that I cannot even describe to you. You have to just like make a Tubi account and go watch Pound Puppies and report back to me and let me know and like count how many ways he's been gaslit. Anyways, so this is Niblet going, it's not my fault Mr. McLeish is serving runt. And everyone else is like, he's serving what? Anyways, I just thought that was funny. And then after I had drawn this, I saw an episode of Mr. McLeish essentially dressed in drag to like sneak into President Obama. You know what? You have to see the episode. You have to see the episode. These were supposed to be an extended version of like these concepts of this like comic that I was gonna make of Sunny and Misty that I never ended up doing, but I've referenced before. More Scott Pilgrim. Everyone is pointing their middle fingers at Scott because they hate him. And I just love, one thing I love about Scott Pilgrim, like visually, like the comic, is that you can just see like every time Scott and Kim are near each other, if they're like hanging out or sitting down, it's like one of them has their legs over the other, or they're just like, even like, to me they're besties but like worsties. only in Kim's eyes. That's why in the Aggie I had drawn that picture of Scott by Kim, like, me and bestie, and Kim's like, no, like, thumbs down. More SPF. And then this is a reference to the Scott Pilgrim game, because Wallace, he's a playable character, but if you're playing anybody else, he's an NPC, and he will watch you get your ass beat and not care. So this is a reference to that Adventure Time episode where Finn's like, Jake, help me out. Jake, help me out. Yeah. That game will have you, like, crashing out. Oh, I've crashed many an out with that game. This is when I was rereading Lost at Sea, and I adore that book in ways that I cannot describe. So here's the main character. I cannot, for the life of me, know how to, like, it's like, is it Riley, but spelled like, I don't know, and I won't look it up. I refuse. But yeah, I was just figuring out how I wanted to draw her. I love her. This is when I watched Your Name, or like, I rewatched Your Name, and that movie will change the trajectory of your life. It's so visually pleasing. The storyline's insane. The plot twists are nuts. I would say watch it on Criterion, but they took it off. So I think it's on Crunchyroll. Yeah. This is a concept page for a movie called House, and that movie, as far as I know, is still on Criterion. But I was gonna draw a page for it, and I had like this whole idea, and I never did it. Yay. Typical. This is when I was trying to figure out my, like, fursona. Look, cringe culture's dead, okay? I used to pretend to be cats and dogs when I was little on the playground, whatever. Love that for me. But I was trying to figure out if I wanted to be a cat or a dog, because I adore both equally, and I still haven't decided to this day. But if I were to be a dog, I'd be one of those, like, shepherds, like Niblet is, because they have, like, hair or fur that look like locks, and I have locks, so I thought that'd be cool. And then here's the Steph from Lost at Sea. And then up here it says, while drawing this page, I checked Instagram and saw Brian had liked my Snot Girl relationship chart, LMAO. I remember because I was walking to leave my room, and it was like that Patrick meme where he's walking out the Krusty Krab, and then he, like, freeze frames. Yeah. School Doodles, 2023 to 2024. Feast your eyes on this page. Lots going on. Just give you a second to look at it, to take a gander. Okay, that's enough for y'all. Here's a continuation of that. Yeah. This, I will say something about this though. Scott is Sans Undertale. Don't ask me why. It's true. It's just true. Brian told me. Yeah. I drew this for a movie called The Turin Horse, which is the longest 3 hours of my entire life. Would I recommend it? No. But if you want to, like, torture yourself a bit, look it up. It's by, is it Bella Tarr, I think, is the director. More school doodles. What the dog doing? But I think this is the last one for the 2023 to 2024 school year. I lied. I tricked myself, and I tricked YouTube. But anyways, this is the ones that I was doing for this illustration of Star Hair Ramona for the anniversary. I was figuring out, like, what hair I wanted to do, what outfits and pose, etc. Some Snot Girl. I don't do fully colored and lined illustrations like this a lot because it takes a lot of effort, and like I said, with ugly sketchbooks, I don't like to stress myself out, so that's why I don't do it often. But there's Lottie and Misty, besties to the end, and then here's a Lotta line here. What I do with these is I just, like, I sketch them out in, like, what are they? They're not even like Prismacolor erase. I've been looking for those for like over a decade. I cannot find them in stores anywhere. They're not Prismacolor erase. They're like Crayola, like color pencils that you can erase. And then I line them with the brush pen, and then I color them in with Copic markers. This is the concept for the Pride Month thing I did with knives and Steven Stills.
Happy gay month, cause you know you gay and stuff.
Okay, thank you.
He gonna go
Talent.
gay balloon cause it got all the colors cause it's gay.
Okay.
And I got Skittles cause it got a rainbow on it.
Okay.
And I got the sick cake. It said, be who you are for your pride.
Thanks. This is my Pride Month. Why did you do this? Why are you doing this?
What? Cause you're gay.
Okay.
And I was really struggling to visualize it, so I literally had to write the dialogue step by step from that video. And then from there, I ended up figuring out how I wanted the like the body language and stuff to be. One thing I really love about that video is just like the random moment where Steven is playing the guitar and Knives is like singing, and then it just cuts back to them like normally talking. I think that's like comedy gold. And then here's a continuation of the planning for that. And I was trying to figure out what outfit I wanted to do for Knives, and I settled on this one. This is for this illustration that I did during the summer. For Fred 1, I have like conceptualized ideas for Fred 2 and 3. I just haven't actually done them. But yeah. It was supposed to be like an extended take on my Scott Pilgrim. Am I losing my mind? On my my Fred Figglehorn analog horror thing from earlier. This is a dialogue. You can pause and read it if you want. I'm probably gonna like, all my bones are cracking, bro. I'm getting too old for everything. But this is the dialogue for this comic that you'll see some sketches and like concepts for later. It's kind of convoluted a little bit, but essentially it's Ramona explaining like why she likes Scott in the first place, and it all like harbors back to this idea of Gideon being such a terrible partner that like can you imagine being with somebody who does not like you? Like, ugh. And then it's like, it's like a pendulum, right? Like, follow me. You start with somebody who does not like you, who does not care, and then the next person you're with is like obsessed with you. Like, you're gonna be like, maybe life is worth living, like, after that pendulum swing. It's such a drastic, like, and there's so many parallels between their relationship and then also parallels between Ramona and Scott when it comes to their last ex that like makes my head real when I think about it. Yeah. Here is me trying to figure out how that would look. You can pause and try to read the dialogue if you want. I feel like you would need a special map too, because I did it in a very specific way, but you may or may not see this, but like one day. But it's kind of told through this scrapbook thing, and you'll see it a little later. But there's that dialogue in, oh my god, what volume was that? Anyways, where Kim is like, oh yeah, I have to go scrapbook, and Ramona's like, were you actually scrapbooking? And Kim's like, no, I was working on this dress. And Ramona's like, oh, okay, I guess we can be friends. But in my mind, Kim was scrapbooking, and so she gets Ramona to scrapbook with her, and that's where this whole thing snowballs from. And then this is like the end of the comic. Fred. Okay, so these are actually like recent pages. The ones with the 1 out of 3, 2 out of 3, 3 out of 3, those are recent pages, because these pages were completely blank, and I decided before I do my other sketchbook, I really want to make sure that I fill in some blank pages, because with ugly sketchbooks, you shouldn't have to fill in every page, but like with how expensive these moleskins are, I was like, need to lock in a bit. But some of these are screenshot redraws, and then others aren't. This picture is so funny to me. But anyways, this one of Kevin says, looks like Robert Pattinson if he looks stupid. Because in Fred 2, Fred was being such a menace at like Kevin's mother's like house party. And he was like, you look like Robert Pattinson if he looked stupid. It's like the delivery is just hilarious. And then these are from Fred, the TV show. Because Kevin and Fred are probably one of the funniest duos in the history of all time. These are from Disenchantment, and I should have locked in and drew some more Disenchantment, but I didn't, because I was watching the show very much on the low. So yeah, I mean, I really enjoyed the show. I should probably rewatch it, but like, Elfo is my favorite. Love that little freak. But yeah, pause to read the, dialogue and stuff. That happens when you use those like double-sided tape thingies to stick stuff in. But anyways, here's just more practice with the brush pen. I got this like random one from Barnes & Noble, and I really liked it. So his ass is not listening. Here's some more, just the girls. And then I said these socks are a secret Santa gift from Scott, because I feel like he would be that annoying person who gets people socks. Yeah. These are, well, at least this part is for that Scott Pilgrim AU, where everything is the same except Todd is French post that I made. And this one says, "Hey, my girlfriend saw you across the bar and we hate your vibe. I'm gonna kick your ass." But yeah, these are just the concepts for the comics that I did that are on my page. These are some of my first day of school outfits when I was in like my last semester, or first to last semester of college, and I was gonna do the whole week, but then I didn't. This is the remainder of that Todd is French thing, because there's a sketch that Brian did for the concept of Todd where it's like French ? And so I ran with that, and that's all it took. Sometimes that's all it takes, just something silly to get the brain going. These are for Scott's birthday for 2024 that I drew with the girls wearing various Scott t-shirts and whatnot. This is some more Snot Girl, December 4th, when we got the release date for Snot Girl issue 16. And then here's a Lottie and a cute girl, or Misty, and then a Caroline on the side. This is for my Virgil when he's forced to kill Sunny, when Big Bro finds out that he didn't actually kill Sunny in issue, was it 14? Art piece. So I was just deciding on like facial like expressions and like body language or whatever, and I really wanted the knife to be behind his back, but then I wanted like the audience to see the knife was behind his back, and then I additionally wanted Big Bro on the side so that Virgil could see Big Bro but Sunny could not, and that we could see the knife but Sunny could not, if that makes sense. Whether this comes to pass or not, who knows? But I do think that Virgil is in extreme trouble when this gets out. This is more planning for that with his like outfit. I was trying to figure out. I wanted something very dramatic, so I didn't go for that like tight t-shirt thing that I was looking at the top up there. I went for this more like frilly neck thingy. What is that called? A turtleneck. This is just some pen doodles that I did. So with this one, this was after Scott gets like knocked through the wall and he lands in the trash in volume 3, and he's like Goku, because he thinks Todd's Goku because of his hair, and Ramona's like, get a grip. And then I was just figuring out how I wanted to draw Stacy, and then buzz cut Ramona because I think she would look really cute with a buzz cut. And then Scott down here is saying, a lot of people think Mario Kart is the best racing game when in reality it's actually Sonic All-Stars Racing, because real people know Sonic All-Stars Racing is where it's at. These are some cute girls. Just figuring out how I want to draw her hair, because every time I draw her hair it always is different and I cannot decide how I want to do it, but it is a bob, so I was just figuring out like some outfits for her too. These banana shoes, they have to make a comeback in like some other art of her. This is some dip pen. So what I did was, there's like this ink thingy that I do not have currently near me, but like you take the pen with the nib or whatever, you dip it in the ink, and then you draw. And I haven't tried it in this sketchbook, but I'm afraid that it'll rip the paper, so what I do is I do it on watercolor paper and then I cut it out, and then this one I ended up painting with watercolor. And then here's the other ones. And then she's wearing a Lottie brand shirt. because everyone has one apparently. These are some outfit stuff that I was trying to figure out because I was doing a Snot Girl winter fit to match the song Winter, which is in my Snot Girl playlist. And some of these outfits you've seen, like you've definitely seen this one. This is the one that I did for Misty. And there was a couple more down here that I ended up scrapping for her. I knew I wanted Caroline to have a flannel, which I ended up doing. And then with Lottie, I just wanted to have her in these boots, ultimately. This one says, love to see a bisexual girl winning. Unfortunately, she's actually losing. She thinks she's winning, but she's definitely losing. Here is the 2 out of 3. So this one is also a recent page. Up here, because I saw this tweet and I think it's hilarious, and I think I'm gonna draw it for a post, but it's Miles saying, please don't come to my house if you're sharing your location with 50 MFs. Turn it off before you get here. And there's Peter B in the back, because that's essentially what happened in the movie. But yeah, here's a bunch of SpongeBob's and a bunch of Patrick's, because I love SpongeBob. Who doesn't? Silly little guy. Oh, and then here's Plankton down here. I didn't see him, he's so small. But yeah. This is just a page and then like a comic I was trying to figure out where like Ramona comes home with her hair buzz cut, and then Scott like freaks out because he thinks that Ramona's breaking up with him because she cut her hair, and she's like, no, it's just hot. Like, I just want to cut my hair. This is a drawing that I did after the London special of Miraculous came out, even though it's not technically a London special because they were... Anyways, that's a whole discussion for another thing. And then a little Zootopia thing that I didn't finish. I was in the midst of working on it, and I did not do that. Here are more dip pen doodles. I did not watercolor these, but I, sometimes I just prefer the black and white because it reminds me of, like, old school comic books and what have you. So this is, mainly Scott Pilgrim. And then there's more over here with Hilda, and then, SpongeBob, and then more Lost at Sea stuff. School doodles for 2024 to 2024, because there will not be a school doodle for this semester due to unforeseen circumstances, but positive unforeseen circumstances. Taking all my classes online, so there's that. This one I decided to put this paper on the bottom. My brother had like this like airplane, like paper airplane making kit or whatever, and he had a bunch of these papers he hadn't used, so I decided to recycle them and put them in my art. I love this Finn and Jake right here. It's probably one of my favorites. And I was in the middle of an Ouran High School Host Club rewatch, and then we got rid of Netflix in my household, so that's a wrap on that. I think it's on Hulu, but I'm being lazy about it. And then this was me trying to figure out in class like how I wanted to do Scott's birthday post, because initially I wanted it to just be Ramona kind of like in a Scott pose like here, but then I decided to go all out. Here's more of the doodles, and this one opens like a little locket. This one of Scott, it says hate this guy with a little heart. What else is on here? Yeah, I forgot how to draw Willow. I don't know if I'd be able to right now. It's just like when you stop drawing a character for a while, I don't know if this happens to other people, but like I just forget how they look if I'm not using a reference. There's more school doodles. There's Lucy going bisexuals, ... He's talking about Bean. Almost to the end here. This is what was this one? Oh yeah. This is the dialogue for the Buzzcut Ramona comic that I did not finish. Now this one is the concept for this post that I did that Brian also liked on Instagram. I drew this before Me When I'm Virgil came out, and I just always had this thought in my mind that Misty and Sunny would be such a funny, like, dynamic, because Misty's, like, unhinged, and Sunny is out of his depth in his research for like whatever the heck Virgil is up to. So I thought it'd be funny to put those two together. And initially, like a couple years ago, when I was drawing that concept comic, I thought they'd be funny because one, Misty's unhinged, but two, like the height difference I think is really funny. So that was initially that. So with this, I wanted to design a detective outfit for Misty, and then with Sunny, I just wanted him to be in a sweater because I don't know if you guys see those award shows where it's like the ladies are in this most extravagant like outfits and the guys are just in a tux. I kind of wanted to give that like dynamic here. And then this was the initial sketch or like envisioning of how the fisheye thing was gonna go because I've never drawn in fisheye before, so I had to lock in. And the very last page is fittingly a Snot Girl page. So there's Misty, Virgil, and Sunny, and then it says these three because whenever those three all like cross paths, I'm gonna lose it. There's a lot of line, and then what's her face? What is her Insta name like, or her TikTok name? It's like baby with the braids or whatever. She's gonna be an issue. For Virgil, it says he has no idea how Jover it is. Meg is living her best life, despite her fiance question marks turmoil. And then this is Misty explaining to Sunny, twinks corrupt anyone they talk to. That is the end of this baby. Hey, it's post sketchbook tour editing desk here again. I just wanted to thank you all for watching my sketchbook tour and for listening to me ramble about whatever it was that I'm rambling about. If you like my art, I'm going to leave my Instagram in my description as well as Fran's information because if it weren't for her, I wouldn't be drawing in an ugly sketchbook in the first place. And if you have any questions or concerns or whatever, go ahead and leave those in the comments and I will respond to those. But yeah, thanks again.